Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you've been well. This week's episode, I'm going to be talking all about Opportunity Zone. I think I did a video about this in the past, but it's been a while, and I've been getting quite a few questions about it recently, so I figured it's a good time to go over this topic again. What is an opportunity zone? What's a qualified opportunity zone? What's a qualified opportunity zone fund? What are the advantages of doing one? What are the disadvantages? All those questions answered today. But first, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I almost said welcome back, but welcome. My name is John Nia. I am one of the founding partners of Trowbridge Law Group, and although I'm an attorney, I am not your attorney, so please do not take any of this as legal advice. If you want legal advice, give us a call. My partner and I, we do free consultations. Just go to our website and you can click the consultation button at the top, and we'd be happy to take you on as a client. We'd be happy to give you all the legal advice you want, but you gotta hire us first, right? So that being said, let's get into it. So what are opportunity zones? What are opportunity zone funds? What are they? Basically, an opportunity zone is an area of a city or state or whatever. It's just the area, like a physical area that is designated by the state, by the government, by the federal and state government, that needs economic development, right? So these are typically in poorer areas. They're in areas that are kind of run down, that have kind of been ignored, and the state, they want to push people, they want to incentivize people to invest in these areas, to put money into these areas, invest money, capital into these areas, to develop them, to bring them up, to build, to create jobs, to do all this stuff, right? So this all came about in 2017 with the passage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, right? So the law basically was created to incentivize people that have a lot of capital gains to invest those capital gains into these areas of need, right? These areas that need economic development. So how do they do that, right? So what are the advantages? What are the tax advantages of investing in an opportunity zone? Well, there are two advantages, right? So number one is tax deferral. So if you are an investor that has, that just sold a bunch of your investment, and now you have a bunch of capital gains and you got to pay tax on those gains, if you reinvest those funds into an opportunity zone, you can defer payment of those taxes for a set amount of time. It's very, very similar to a 1031 exchange, right? So in a 1031 exchange, you sell a piece of property, and if you reinvest those funds into a new property of equal or greater value, you defer payment of your capital gains tax. And you could potentially defer it forever, as long as you hold that new property forever, or you keep exchanging it forever. Very, very similar to an opportunity zone, right? So when you sell say you sell some stocks and now you have some capital gains tax that you have to pay. If you take those funds from the sale of those stocks and reinvest it into an opportunity zone, you defer the taxes on those stocks. That's tax advantage number one. Tax advantage number two is actually a reduction in the amount of taxes that you pay. So unlike a 1031 exchange, where you never actually reduce or eliminate the taxes, you just keep deferring it, if you invest your funds into an opportunity zone and you hold it there for a set amount of time, you actually have the ability to reduce the amount of taxes you pay. So it depends on how long you hold your funds there. And to be honest, I am not a CPA, I'm not an accountant. So if you want specific advice on the length of time you can hold it and how much you could actually reduce, or how much of your taxes that you can reduce, please talk to your own CPA. I'm not the best person to give advice on that. I can't even give advice on tax issues because I'm not a tax attorney or a CPA. So talk to a CPA if you want specifics about how much you could actually reduce your own taxes. But that is the second benefit of investing in a top opportunity zone. So number one, tax deferral. Number two, tax reduction, right? But what if you are a syndicator and you're thinking about raising money to invest in a property that's located in an opportunity zone? Well, you need to set up an opportunity zone fund, right? So if you set up an opportunity zone fund, then all your investors in the fund get to take advantage of these tax savings, these tax advantages, right? So how do you do that? Well, it's very similar to a normal syndication where you set up some sort of entity structure. So in order to set up a qualified opportunity zone fund, you either need a corporation, a partnership, or an LLC set up. And that company, that corporation or LLC, needs to hold, I believe it's 90% of its assets within a qualified opportunity zone. So that's easy if you're buying a specific property in an opportunity zone, but what if you're buying multiple properties and some are located outside? Well, then you can't qualify as a qualified opportunity zone fund because you need at least 90% of your assets to be in an opportunity zone. But in addition to that, what we're kind of realizing and seeing recently is that if you are thinking about doing a syndication in an opportunity zone, it's probably a good idea to set up a separate company, a separate LLC, just for your investors that will be taking advantage of these tax savings. And the reason for that is it helps with bookkeeping, it helps with administration, because your investors that are that will be taking advantage of these tax savings, their taxes are going to be obviously different than your investors who are not going to be taking part in the opportunity zone advantages. So it's probably a good idea to keep them separate, right? To make it easier for your own bookkeeping, to make it easier for your CPA when they do the K1s. It's easier to kind of compartmentalize them in a separate LLC. So that being said, what are the disadvantages, right? So number one, there is an increase in accounting, right? Accounting costs. You're going to have to hire a CPA that specializes in this, that knows this area of the tax code, to give you advice, to set up the company for you, to do the taxes for you. It's going to cost you a little bit more money. It's going to cost a little bit more from the entity structuring perspective, right? So potentially setting up a whole new LLC and the cost of running another LLC. You got to add that to the mix. Legal, right? So it's a little bit more expensive to do the legal work for it. Whether or not there's more risk involved, I mean, probably, right? Because you are investing in more distressed neighborhoods, more distressed communities. So there's more risk in that in general. There's the risk that these tax codes, these tax laws can change in the future and take these advantages away. There's the risk that investors won't be able to realize the entire tax benefits that you are advertising. So there's an increase in risk in doing a syndication that's located in an opportunity zone. That being said, my one piece of advice for clients that are thinking about setting up a opportunity zone fund is this shouldn't be the only reason you are setting up the fund, right? You need to make sure that if you took out that piece of it, if you took out the fact that it's an opportunity zone and there's tax benefits for investors, that this will work without that, right? This syndication will work without that, because that's the risk, right? That's the risk that you have to consider. So with all that being said, I hope I answered a lot of questions that the people out there on YouTube had about opportunity zones. If you are interested in setting up your own. If you're interested in setting up your own syndication, please reach out. Again, we give free consultations, so go to our website, trowbridgelawgroup.com, and you'll see a button right there on the top to set up a consultation with either myself or my partner, Gene. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoy this content. We put out weekly videos just like this. Next week, what I'm going to be talking about. Maybe more tax stuff. Maybe I'll go into 1031 exchanges again, because we've been getting a lot of questions about those. Or, hey, if you have an idea of a video that you want, a topic that's interesting to you, feel free to write down there in the comments a question, and I'll be happy to respond. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.